Hi, this is Tisha Perry with Giving Group Realty, and I'm here today at the Salvation Army meeting with Major Rhonda Lloyd to learn a little bit more about what the Salvation Army does, as well as programs and ways that you can support the community.
Very nice to meet you, Tisha.
You too.
I've been with the Salvation Army for 32 years.
Wow.
And my husband is a fourth generation Salvationist. So our family goes way back, almost to William Booth, who was the founder of the Salvation Army in London, England. And his mission and desire was to reach out to the others, those in the church, those in the community that the church had maybe forgotten or that weren't accepted in the church. So he started the mission in East London and came to the United States in 1880 something, I think. Started in Chicago, if I'm remembering correctly. And we've been here in the Portland area since the late 1800s as well. We started working with veterans during the World War I. Okay. When our donut girls actually went out onto the field with the soldiers. And they were there to encourage and support. They wrote letters. They made donuts in the pith helmets, which is how they became known as the Donut Girls. And here in the Portland area, we have been housing and serving veterans since the early 2000s. And we have been in this location now, Veterans and Family Center here in Beaverton, since 2010. So we have approximately helped 100 veterans every year to transition from homelessness to permanent housing. So amazing that we would be connected with this Connecting Hearts and the housing situation, yes, because that is our main goal for our homeless vets. When they come to us, they could have been unhoused for a short period of time or a lengthy period of time. We have many different programs within our unit so that we can meet those needs and have the amount of time that we need to work with a veteran to get them truly stable. We don't want to just put them in a house and think, okay, everything's great then. We actually follow up with them for another year after that. And we work with them to get them housing ready, is what we call it. Okay. So some of those folks come to us after years and years of being on the streets, don't have any identification, don't have any documents, don't have a driver's license. Would be impossible to get a rental house. So we work with them during that time to get all those documents. We work with them on their personal issues. And we have 4 ultimate goals that each program works with. And that ultimate one is permanent housing. Okay. But prior to that, we work with financial stability and increasing income. Many come to us without any income at all. And then also health and well-being and sobriety. We're a clean and sober facility. Mm-hmm. So every morning and every evening, we do breathalyzers. We do random urinalysis. And for those folks who have drug and alcohol issues, we enroll them into the Veterans Administration supportive unit that does all that substance abuse stuff. But we're also opening 10 beds in the fall for folks who need that residential clinical treatment. We have a clinical gal who's on our staff now, and she'll be doing the drug and alcohol treatment. So we do a gamut of things, from getting them documents to having therapeutic activities while they're here. And folks can stay with us from 3 months to 2 years is the maximum. Average is about 9 months, depending on their situations. We've had veterans that come to us with everything ready to go. They just have a few months or a few weeks before they get into their place. We call that bridge housing. They're here for that amount of time. We have emergency transitional housing, where they come to us right from the hospital or a treatment program, and they have very strong physical needs. Maybe they have to recover from a surgery or something like that, and they're here for a short period of time in that program. We have about 30 days to evaluate whether or not that's going to be sufficient or if they need to go into one of our longer-term programs. Okay. And then our clinical treatment program is a recovery-based program that averages 9 months, but can be as long as 2 years. And then we have a supportive intensive transitional housing program. See if you can say that 3 times. We call
I'll
that SIF. Yeah. And those folks are the ones that come to us that have been homeless for a length of time and don't have any documents, need at least those 9 months.
And how do you connect with them? How do they get referred to you?
So many different ways.
Okay.
A lot of times it's through the VA hospital.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just through word of mouth. And sometimes it's meeting people on the bus, or there's a place in Clackamas called Fort Kennedy. We do some outreach there and they refer to us. The different shelters refer to us.
Okay.
So we have lots of different referrals.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, they call the VA and they say, I'm desperate. What can I do? And the VA refers them to all the different places.
Wow.
So then they come to us. One of the things that's really unique about us is that we not only accept the veteran, but we accept their partner and or their children. Nobody else in the area accepts families as a whole.
Wow.
And we do. And we make arrangements for those folks. We've had people with as many as 5 kids here. Okay. We've had as many as 26. And we do everything that we can. Back to school stuff, Christmas stuff, birthday gifts, anything that we can do to help support the family.
Show them stability and what life on a stable base would be.
Yes. Okay. And also to help them know of their value and their worth.
Yeah.
Because folks come to us broken.
Yeah.
And hurting and having been turned away from very many places and have served our country, for heaven's sake.
Right.
So, and we don't realize what a toll that can take on an individual with mental health as well as physical health. So we want them to know that they are valued just because of who they are, not because of anything they've done or not done. And then from there, we build some stability in housing. Health and well-being goals might be anything from getting up on time in the morning to taking a walk every day and learning how to kind of deal with your mental health, to eating 3 meals a day. Many of them come to us having been on the streets foraging for food. So we're helping them learn about healthy eating, and we even do gardening and art classes. We have a rent well class that helps them if they've been evicted previously. That gives them some credibility because they're a high-risk renter. Sure. That gives them some credibility with the landlord, but it also gives the landlord some security if they should default. Then the landlord has some recourse as well. So that's one of the classes that we offer. And we just really want to help people get back on their feet. But we always tell them this is a joint venture. Yes. We are here to be case managers and they're ambassadors, but they have to do the work. Yeah.
Tell us a success story. I'm sure you have lots of them.
You know, one of the ones that jumps to my mind is one of our veterans who was homeless for over a decade. And he was living up in the woods. We called him our mountain man. Lovingly, not meaning anything bad by that. And he came to us because the person where he was squatting, he had his trailer on someone's land, and they knew about that and they allowed that, but that person died.
Okay.
So then their children took over the estate and said, bye-bye. So he had lived, if I'm remembering correctly, about 26 years without a lot of human interaction.
Okay.
And he came to us not too excited about living in 4 walls.
Yeah.
And not excited about living in community.
Yeah.
And yet, so when he first came, I'd say, so how are you doing today? And he'd say, above ground. But he'd hardly even look at you. And he made friends almost immediately with the squirrels in the area, was feeding the squirrels from his 2nd story window. And when people would go out to the smoke tent, all the squirrels would think that they had food for them. So we had to eventually help him go
little
down.
Snow White moment going on with all the birds and critters. Oh my
exactly.
gosh.
And he would say,
but no, I mean, that's still, you don't want that, right?
No, we can't. I mean, not with kids and other veterans who've had maybe traumatic experiences with animals. So we had to help him learn that he had to take his peanuts down the road. So we would see him and he would get to the point where he'd put his peanuts in his backpack. He'd be heading out the door and I'd say, have a great day, Mike. And he'd say, going to feed my friends. After about a year here, he got housed and he got housed in a duplex, so it wasn't an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a little bit of land. It was a little bit further out into, not in an urban area.
Yeah.
And he's doing so well. And by the time he left, when I would say to him, how are you doing today? He would still say above ground, but he would say, above ground, Major. And he would look at me. And it was so wonderful. He struggled, of course, being here. He wasn't sure he liked people, but he made friends by the time he left. There's folks that still get together with him. And I'm just so blessed to tell his story because it just has worked out so well. And we have so many. Last quarter alone, we helped house 19 individuals with their families or significant others. So
good job making the effort
wonderful.
and seeing the need and creating a community where they can come and be seen, heard, and make a life change if they choose to do that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it really has a lot to do with their choices. You know?
Yeah.
Some come, and we just had a family, a man and a woman and their 4 or 5-year-old daughter, and the gal was pregnant. And they were here, oh gosh, maybe 9 weeks. They were on it. They were ready to go. And they came in pretty skeptical, not too sure they wanted to live in a shelter, you know. But they came and they realized that we were doing great things and that they were comfortable here and they got all the assistance that they needed. And they went in, they moved into a place for just in time for her to have her second baby.
Oh.
So that was really exciting.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is awesome.
Thank you. It's really, you know, when we think about it, there's some really tough stories as well, but we hold on to those ones of hope and encouragement. I could go on and on, you know, I try to get to know them as people. Our case managers deal with all the work stuff, right? They do all the paperwork and applying for vouchers and getting them jobs and DD-214s and all of those things that they need to have in order to be able to rent. But I get to be just kind of the mama bear.
Nice.
And they call me the house mama. One of them used to call me mama, and I'd say, no, house mama, yes, mama, no, because I am not old enough to be your mama. But we just have a good time together and enjoy their company while they're here, but always with the knowledge that they are on their way. Yeah. They don't get to stay. I joke with them when they even come in. And I say, I've raised 3 kids. I kicked them all out. I'm going to be kicking you out too.
Thank you so much for the work that you're doing here and the programs that you have to support the vets. And it's very near and dear to my heart to have that support. They've served and they've had a hard time. And anything that we can do to help bring that. So if you're considering giving and you're not sure where to give, consider the Salvation Army. At least the Portland branch here is doing amazing work, as I'm sure they're doing around the world with this. So.
Yeah. And if they wanted to go specifically to us, it would be Salvation Army Veterans and Family Center.
Okay.
They can also give to
Look down below in the video. We'll put that information.
Yeah. That is great.
Yeah.
And it makes such a difference for us. We're in the middle of our reconstruction right now. We're giving everyone single occupancy rooms with private bathrooms.
Wow.
And we could not do that. Could not do our job without the support of the community. So we are just so grateful for every dollar we get. Well,
that helpful. Brings up a point. Did you know that you can donate your home and choose a specific nonprofit to receive that, either the entire proceeds of it or a portion thereof? And if you choose that, the average donation in America is $550,000 to the nonprofit. That would be a lot of bedrooms and bathrooms.
It sure would. And we're needing to redo our greenhouse. We have a greenhouse that's a therapeutic activity for them for while they're here. Again, giving them a sense of hope and future.
Okay.
And boy, could we use that for our greenhouse.
Okay. Let's grow a greenhouse. What do you say?
Fabulous.
Perfect. Thank you.